Right now, the National Weather Desk, deadly tornado outbreak. Dozens of people are dead after twisters touched down across multiple states.
Oh, there it is. Oh, wow. There it is, close range.
We have coverage from the hardest hit areas, including Kentucky.
There's nothing. I don't know what to do.
And Missouri.
We're in the tornado. Oh!
And our storm chasers are finding dramatic images of the twisters.
I got debris coming in the window here.
We'll also help you better understand how hail forms in these types of storms.
Formation process for hail is very different than the process to form snow.
And answer the age-old question, why is the sky blue?
It has to do with the light from the sun's angle in the sky, and reflection.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Angela Brown. At least 28 people are dead following violent weather across multiple states over the weekend, and the threat of even more severe storms continues today. The most recent tornado touched down in central Kansas near midnight last night. Our storm chaser Brett Adair was there as the twister destroyed multiple homes. The local fire administrator said it was a mile wide at one point, but so far there are no reports of injuries or deaths. This tornado was spotted near Aurora, Colorado yesterday afternoon. Thankfully, this one is not believed to have caused any injuries or damage, but another twister east of Denver damaged or destroyed dozens of homes. The National Weather Service says there were 4 tornadoes reported in the state yesterday.
Golly, at the helix.
Oh, look, it's dancing.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, wow.
There it is, close range. I got debris coming in the window here. All right, trees getting lofted. Oh, it's shredding the trees. Power flashes.
And check out this video for Brett Adair of a tornado in Arnett, Oklahoma last night. One of 4 to hit the state on Sunday. Arnett is in the western part of Oklahoma near the Texas Panhandle. Several homes are damaged, but remarkably, there are no reports of injuries or deaths. And Oklahoma is once again under threat of significant severe storms later today. The Storm Prediction Center issued a 4 out of 5 risk for much of the state, including Oklahoma City and Tulsa. There's also a serious risk in the surrounding area, including Dallas and Kansas City. Large hail is the biggest threat, along with damaging winds and tornadoes. That risk moves east on Tuesday, with Memphis and Nashville facing the biggest threat of severe storms. Cities outside that zone, like Indianapolis, St. Louis, and Cincinnati, could also be at risk. The latest round of severe weather began on Friday when tornadoes struck Missouri and Kentucky. The bluegrass state was hardest hit. At least 19 deaths there are now blamed on those twisters, most in the southeastern part of the state. We have 2 reports on the damage and recovery efforts, starting with James Pilcher in the now devastated town of London.
Devastating these houses, knocking over trailers, cutting down trees, and there were several people who survived this inside their homes, and today they say they're lucky to be alive. Jacob Jackson was home with his grandmother here near Old Whitley Road when the storm hit Friday evening. The 2 were safe after emerging from the closet, but the house was a different matter.
I couldn't be more grateful just to be standing here. Everything else, there's a lot of people around us that got hurt bad, so I just thank God,
A few doors down, Tina Carnes says she was on the phone with her sons and husband as the tornado hit. She was working for another county's emergency management agency at the time. Her sister's mobile home across the street was also completely destroyed.
We've lost everything. We don't have clothes, we don't have shoes, we don't have food, we don't, there's nothing. I don't know what to do.
The EF3 tornado touched down in Somerset and Pulaski County to the west, where it killed at least 1 person. But it continued to wreak havoc all the way into London. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear toured the damage in Laurel County by car and helicopter Saturday. He noted this is the 13th major weather disaster to hit the state in his tenure, including other tornadoes in 2021 and major flooding twice earlier this year.
We can't know why we keep getting hit over and over and over. Kentucky has gotten knocked down more times than just about anybody. We've gotten up every single time.
Dozens of volunteers spread out throughout Somerset on Saturday. People helping lift each other up.
People come first.
After a devastating tornado tore through the city, leaving behind multiple downed trees, power lines, and damage to homes. Many businesses no longer standing.
Yeah, the windows in the front of the building's been pulled out. It destroyed the company car there, tore the whole front end off of it.
2 people tell us they hid in their bathroom as the tornado took the roof off their apartment building.
There was just stuff flying around our heads. I mean, I literally thought I was gonna die.
Across the county, Judge Executive Marshall Todd said there was widespread damage. Among the worst spots, Mount Victory, 15 miles east of Somerset.
Acres and acres of trees, forest land down, along with about 6 houses that are completely destroyed. I don't know how the people got out of it alive without any injuries, but they survived and they came out without a scratch. So it's amazing what they went through.
You can see the path of the tornado, which flattened trees on this mountaintop that now looks bald. Residents along this road, like Travis Wade, worked with county crews to clean up debris from the road to get it back open. He hid in his basement as the tornado came through.
It was real calm, and then it got real like a howling, like a roaring noise, and it's just, I don't know, it was crazy.
Hey man, it's a tornado, man. We're in the tornado. Oh!
Tornadoes also struck St. Louis, killing at least 5 people. We posted this video on TikTok over the weekend, and you saw the winds blew the roof off of a house. The mayor of St. Louis calls the devastation truly tremendous. She estimates 5,000 buildings across the area are impacted. Damage is estimated at over $1 billion. A curfew is still in effect in the disaster zones, mostly because many buildings are unstable. The National Weather Service says this tornado was an EF3 with winds up to 150 miles per hour. A line of storms rumbled through parts of central Alabama during the weekend. Here's what the system left behind in Trussville, northeast of Birmingham. Uprooted trees, down power lines, roads, and driveways clogged with debris. It was a similar story in Tuscaloosa, where Austin Pratt has this report.
Laura Kersey describes the moment a storm brought a tree down on her home.
I started to hear the leaves shift and stuff, so I got up and ran because my bedroom is on that side with that tree, and that's a massive tree, it's really large. So I kind of just ran out of my room and came to my mom and was like, "Oh, the tree is falling." And then, we got up and we checked on everybody.
It happened around 5 a.m. Sunday morning. After realizing her family was okay, she assessed the damage.
And it is a big inconvenience. We can't use our shower. The shower has a hole in it. There is no getting clean.
Rainwater was flowing into her home through the ceiling and light fixture in the bathroom.
There was water pouring through it. You can kind of see the yellow around it.
The massive tree you can see was split down the middle, half of it landing on the home, the other half on the nearby barn and sheds.
In the Washington, D.C. region, it was not a tornado, but rather straight-line winds that caused problems. You can see and hear how strong those winds were as they blew through the area Friday night. 2 people in Northern Virginia were killed in separate incidents when trees fell on their cars. Meteorologist Mark Pena explains the difference between tornadoes and straight-line winds.
We had some wind damage across the area, and you would think that's associated with a tornado, but what actually happened mostly around the D.C. area were microbursts that caused straight line winds, and straight line winds are exactly that. They blow out from a storm in a straight line, and typically these are localized, and wind gusts from these can be anywhere from 70 to about 80 miles per hour. Now that's opposed to tornadoes, and this is where it's a rotating column inward. So as opposed to straight line winds that blow out, tornadoes will blow in and in a circular motion. And unlike a microburst, tornadoes are visible to the naked eye. A microburst is pretty much just a big wall of rain, and these winds are a lot stronger, anywhere up to about 200 miles per hour.
The same system that caused these devastating tornadoes and damage was responsible for carrying a blanket of dust into the Windy City, Chicago. It was the first ever dust storm warning and the first time the area has been enveloped like that since the Dust Bowl period of the 1930s. According to the local National Weather Service office, thunderstorms in central Illinois pushed strong winds over dry, dusty farmland and into the Chicago area. The dust storm was so big it was visible from space. You can clearly see it on the move in this time lapse from a weather satellite. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, we'll help you better understand how hail forms during severe thunderstorms, and we'll explain why the sky is blue.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
Last week, a dead minke whale washed ashore in Providence, Rhode Island. The sighting is unusual for the area, but as Abby Buttacavoli found out, officials say since 2017, there has been an unusual mortality event declared for minke whales.
Tim McHenry fishes here at Bold Point Park in East Providence.
Trying to get some, maybe a striper or a bluefish on a plug, but no luck today.
But he did catch something, or at least catch the image of what folks are driving here to see.
Did you even know this whale had washed up?
Not until just now, but yeah, there's a dead whale behind me.
Mystic Aquarium says this is a minke whale that had previously washed ashore in January. Bold Point Park goers found it here Saturday.
Well, I hate seeing anything like that go, but it happens.
The aquarium and the Rhode Island DEM say they gathered skin and blubber samples months ago for genetic studies. The aquarium also said it has received various reports about the carcass in different locations in the same vicinity for the last couple of months.
Have you seen other dead whales wash ashore like this in an area like this?
Not ashore. I've been in boats, I've seen them, but I've never seen one this far up the bay.
Because it's in a difficult area, DEM says it cannot remove the carcass or tow it to another location, so it must decompose naturally.
It will provide food for a lot of other sea life.
Marine experts say since 2017, there has been an unusual mortality event declared for minke whales. In that time, Mystic has responded to 14 dead minke whales throughout Rhode Island. They say several of the whales have shown evidence of human interactions like vessel strikes and entanglements, as well as infectious disease.
April showers bring May flowers, or so the saying goes. But is it actually true? Cedar Rapids, Iowa meteorologist Garrett Hyde says the phrase dates back to a poem written around the 16th century and takes a closer look at numbers in that area and whether the saying rings true.
For flowering plants, you need a temperature range anywhere between about 55 to 80 degrees at the upper end, about 1 to 2 inches of water per week, and about 12 or so hours of sunlight or more. And of course, March does see about an average of around 0.46 inches of rain each and every week, of around 0.82 inches of rain per week in April, 0.98 inches of rain in May, and then right around 1.3 inches each week in June. So while April does bring some showers, it's actually not much more significant than many other of the spring months. But what really brings on those May flowers is the increase in temperatures and the length of day. And warmer temperatures generally speed up those more essential processes, leading to faster growth and fruit production. And here in Iowa, we generally enter the safe temperature range by about early to mid-May. But the kicker really is for those flowering plants is the daylight, known as photoperiodic plants. And these flowering plants bloom when a plant hormone called florigen is released from the photoreceptor proteins. After several weeks of seeing around about 12 or more hours of daylight, enough florigen builds up to tell the tips of a branch to alter its vegetative cells into more flowering cells, forming those flower buds. And here in Iowa, we typically do see our average daylight length hit right around that 14-hour mark, right around early May. So again, while April showers do help hydrate the soil, it's those longer days and warmer temperatures all lining up right around the exact same time that truly does bring on those May flowers.
Those April showers often result in thunderstorms that can bring lightning. But did you know that lightning can strike people in different ways? Meteorologist Vitas Reed explains.
I'm meteorologist Vitas Reed. Want to talk to you about types of lightning and how they strike people. Direct strike, although not as common, it is the most deadly type of strike, and that can happen. We have a lot of thunderstorm activity that happens in late spring and early summer, and through the summer, a lot of outdoor activities. You have to be careful being out in the open. Take shelter indoors. A side flash, lightning strikes a taller object near the victim, and it jumps to the victim. So that is the issue. It can hit something nearby, but it travels to you. And another aspect of this, a ground current. The current travels along the ground into the victim, often livestock. A lot of times this can happen in farm country with animals out in the open. Conduction, lightning strikes a metal object and travels to the victim. So these are the different ways that you could be struck by lightning. You just want to make sure you're safe. When you hear that thunder, go indoors.
When thunderstorms strike, they don't just bring lightning. Sometimes hail is part of the package. Meteorologist Christian Bridges explains how it forms.
Now, even though it's a frozen precipitation type, the formation process for hail is very different than the process to form snow. It all begins in a thunderstorm, which has an updraft. This is what pushes the storm up into the sky as a powerful current of air. Now, every storm also has a freezing level. At some point high up in the atmosphere, the temperature drops below freezing, and we want that freezing level to be low in the storm for the formation of hail. Due to that updraft, it pushes raindrops up above that freezing level, and we start to get the formation of a hailstone. And because of the chaotic currents in the storm, the hail will go up and down in the storm, collecting a layer of ice each time it passes above the freezing layer, sort of like adding on a layer to an onion. Eventually, the weight of the hailstone is too much for the updraft to keep in the air, so the hailstone falls down to the ground. So we can say that the size of the hailstone depends on the strength of the updraft. The stronger the updraft, the bigger the hailstone. Hail can range all the way from pea size at the smallest to grapefruit size at the largest. And for a hailstone to become that large, the updraft in the storm must be over 100 miles per hour.
3, 2, 1. When the full moon appears, it can light up the night sky, but sometimes it seems smaller than what we're used to seeing. It's known as a micromoon. Sometimes the moon appears much larger than usual, which is known as a supermoon. Meteorologist Violet Skyborg explains why there are different types of full moons.
The moon actually doesn't travel in a circle around the Earth. It's more of an elliptical path, and that's due to the sun's gravitational pull on the moon. So it takes about 29.5 days for the moon to take this entire path, which is why we get full moons at different dates each month. So as this travels around the Earth is not directly in the center of this path. So the closest point where the moon is to the Earth is called the perigee. That's when it's about 226,000 miles away from Earth. The furthest point away from the Earth is called the apogee. That's 253,000 miles away from Earth. So when we have a full moon and the moon is at the perigee point, that's what's called a supermoon, and it appears brighter and larger. When the moon is at the apogee point, which is the furthest point away from Earth, that's when we have what's called a micromoon, and it is about 30% dimmer and 14% smaller than a supermoon, so it does make a pretty big difference. And on average, we usually see a supermoon about 3 to 4 times per year, a micromoon 2 to 3 times per year, and that's due to Earth's position in this elliptical and also sun's gravitational pull. And it varies each year. The next full moons over the next year and a half. We just had a micro full moon, May 12th. Our next full moon, supermoon, will be November 5th this year. And we also have a second supermoon December 4th, then a couple of micro full moons, May 31st in 2026, June 29th in 2026 as well.
And time now for a short break, but first we soar over Isles Beach, Florida.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
It's an age-old question. Why is the sky blue? Well, we have the answer for you. Here's meteorologist Marion Caldwell.
Well, it's the million-dollar question. Why is the sky blue? So the blue we see has to do with the light from the sun's angle in the sky, and reflection. When you see the sun, the light looks white, but it's really made up of all colors from the rainbow. So molecules in the air act like tiny prisms in the sky, and they can reflect all different wavelengths of color. So light travels in waves. Some light travels in short, choppy waves, and some travel in big, long, lazy waves. But blue light travels in those short and choppy waves, and when these hit the Earth's atmosphere, they are scattered in all different directions. But here's the kicker. The blue light is scattered out more than other colors because of the way it travels in those shorter, smaller waves. And we call this Rayleigh's scattering, and it's what makes the blue color that we see get reflected back to our eyes more easily, and that there is why the sky is blue.
Looking for more content just like this? Check us out on social media. We post content from our team of 200 meteorologists across the country. Just search the National Weather Desk on your favorite social media platforms. We'll be right back.